We have a new Minister of Infrastructure in Ontario. It's Monte McNaughton. Re-elected.
Another long-serving MPP.
Right. From the riding of, this is one of those, Lambton, Kent, Middlesex. Apologies, Minister. So, someone that once ran for the leadership of the PC party and lost to Patrick Brown, but has a bit of a following. Certainly, most people would consider Monte McNaughton to be right of center in his politics.
Bit of a social conservative.
I don't think that's unfair. I think that most people would agree with you. So now he becomes the Minister of Infrastructure, which is really agnostic to that sort of thing. That they're this is the ministry that delivers the big projects in this province. The big brand new hospitals, subways. Like it's just, if it's a big project, Infrastructure Ontario is probably involved. We've even had a case where it wasn't an infrastructure project, but another ministry that actually called upon IO's, Infrastructure Ontario's expertise to negotiate to help them out. So this is the numbers in the last Liberal budgets, the second last and last, were mind-boggling. I think we were up to 12 years and $180 billion.
Yeah, I think it was 14 years. The years kept shifting, the numbers kept shifting, but ultimately with the PC commitments, they were looking to match what the Liberals had committed to with respect to infrastructure, and then there was also that additional commitment of $5 billion. Obviously, $5 million would not get very far on building subways, but $5 billion more towards building subways. So, this is a massive portfolio, as you said. This is a very high spending portfolio, but hopefully high spending in a good way, one that adds productivity and growth to the province. And certainly, it's also one where we've seen previous ministers, grow from this particular role. We had Kathleen Wynne was a Minister of Transportation when there was a significant infrastructure component to it, and then moved on to the premiership. And not suggesting that Monte McNaughton is the next Premier of Ontario, but just that this is a good role for him in which to also gain some prominence and have a good seat at the table.
It will be interesting too because of Infrastructure Ontario's model, the alternative finance procurement model. There is private sector money gets brought into things where the private sector is called upon to design, build, finance, and maintain things like hospitals, and in return they get a 20-year or longer revenue stream to do it. So while not all of those billions are necessarily government capital, there is private sector capital. The government still has a large role to play in procuring these mega contracts for ministries and organizations that are not necessarily well equipped to run procurements like that on their own. So I think it's going to be a fun time at infrastructure. I'm looking forward to, because we now have a premier that's big on subways. So I want to see the dynamic between Premier Ford, Monte McNaughton at infrastructure, Steve Clark at municipal affairs, and John Yakubuski over at transportation to make all of these subways work. There's a number of projects that have been announced but not necessarily underway yet. Things like LRT, for example. Yep. So we'll be curious to watch and see if...
and high-speed rail is another big example.
Right. We'll be curious to see if these things go forward or if it's just going to be more subways, and some of these projects that were previously announced may not, in fact, go forward. So Monte McNaughton, our new Minister of Infrastructure in the province of Ontario, good luck to you, and we'll be in your office soon, we hope.